Testing. But I took some Benadryl right before.
Oh.
And I didn't realize that. Well, I asked Michelle, our executive assistant, for some allergy meds, and she gave me two, and I took them. I didn't realize it was Benadryl, so it knocked me out. But we want to share a story from what just happened
Yeah.
moments ago that I kind of want to debrief with you here.
Cool. Let's do it. Yeah, it's but in retrospect, what you just said, the first thing that went through my mind was crap, not Benadryl. But hey, we sometimes have those moments in life, right?
Well, I can breathe. That's a good thing.
That is a good thing. Allergies are gone.
So we are talking about how to turn your failures into lessons, how to turn your failures into your greatest successes. Because what just happened was I was brought back to my younger self, and my younger self was always so afraid of public speaking. Like my legs would shiver and shake like you've never seen before when I had to stand in front of students to speak.
Yeah.
So I always had this thought of one day I'm going to have to do this in front of people, and it's going to be the death of me.
Which is crazy because you're such a powerful speaker. Like I've seen you on stage countless times, just crush it.
Absolutely. But today, I was in front of our 50 high-level mastermind members speaking. We were telling a story, we were teaching, but I froze up. And I didn't know what to say next. And my mind kind of got trapped for a second. And I was thinking, oh no, these people are about to see that I'm not perfect. Right? Because when we do these masterminds, we prepare so we make sure we can create a perfect performance
Yeah.
and give them as much as we can give them.
Yeah.
And what I realized in that moment of freezing up, I don't know if you guys have ever frozen up before when talking to someone or giving a speech, but it is a scary thing because all eyes are on you. So in that moment, all I knew to do was pass it back to you, which of course, being a great business partner as you are, you just kept it going, kept it flowing. But before we continue the story, what from your perspective, what was going on in that?
Well, I think the first thing that goes through my mind is everything is a opportunity for learning and growth. Everything is a opportunity to say, okay, there's a reason that everything happens. Even on the natural side, going, okay, there was a mistake of allergy medicine, but on the side of reality, the likelihood of that happening is so small. So then, why did it happen? Which leads me in the moment. I'm just always saying, first off, I guess there's two things that go through my mind. First off, our brotherhood, I'm just always checking in on you. Is my brother good? So in that moment, it's just to be a brother and to check in on my brother. So that's always number one for me. And then number two, immediately after I know you're good, is, all right, how is this a learning moment? What's the purpose of this happening, and what are we meant to learn and take away from this? And so turn every challenge, every road bump, right, into a learning moment, and that will change everything. But again, for me, it's just always first of like, brother, you good? You good? All right, cool.
So in that moment, by the way, I've never frozen up since high school in front of class. So freezing up in a moment like this, it's almost bring you back to your 13-year-old self of like, oh crap, what do I do? And what I know to do in those moments is say like, hey guys, my brain is blanking. I have no idea what to say right now, but I'm gonna do my best. Is that okay? And what that does is it clears the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Because everyone is not looking if you're nervous or not, but they can feel it. But if you can address the elephant in the room, my mind's blanking, guys. I'm gonna do my best here. And it takes all that pressure off of you. And that's what I did in the moment. And what had happened was actually very beautiful. Because slowly I started to realize that this is the lesson. The thing we were teaching to our students was how to execute and how to find an incredible business partner. And what I noticed in that moment was when I was blanked up, I threw it over to Andrew and he picked it right back up. But I realized that I have to, if I want to continue being a better speaker, I have to execute. And execution requires you to fall down sometimes.
Yeah.
But when you fall down, if you have the right business partner, right brother, or right friend, they're going to pick you back up and say, hey, what happened there?
Yeah.
What can we do better next time? So the next time you speak, you learn from that mistake. But most people are by themselves and never find that right person to pick them back up, so they stay down. And it hurts so much that they don't want to keep executing because they don't want to feel that same pain.
Yeah. I see so many people who get caught in that loop of, I tried that and failed, or that didn't work for me. And, when we say just fell forward fast, it's almost cliche. You hear it so much, just fell forward fast. And then the moment it happens, you're like, crap, that sucked.
It sucked.
Right?
It did suck.
But then you're like, okay, this is exactly what we do. This is exactly what we teach. This is exactly how we walk. Every single day. We're not perfect, as shocking as that may be. We are running multiple businesses, and we are figuring it out every day. We're growing the businesses, we're growing the team, we're growing everything, and every day is a new learning moment. And the more difficult those learning moments are, the more, the bigger the lesson is that comes from them.
Yeah. My lesson I learned was don't take Benadryl
That's
right before hopping on
good
stage.
lesson.
But also that it's okay to fail sometimes.
Yeah.
And it actually makes people connect with you more.
So maybe do take Brandon.
Exactly. I think I try to be so perfect sometimes, even on this live show. But this is why sometimes I'll take a pause and take a minute and say, you know what, guys? Let's go this direction because it's not on the plan. And let's put ourselves in unknown territories. And when we put ourselves in unknown territories, you force yourself to grow. This is how me and Andrew roll every day. We didn't know what to do on this live show. Instead, we said, let's just start it and let's figure it out. And we didn't have a logo before. This is a logo I created a couple days ago because we also had a different logo. And we, 2 minutes before this, just fixed our mics and figured out what to do with these mics. Wait, were you trying to show the logo?
Yeah, right there.
That's funny. We had a mistake because I forgot the power outlets for the mics. And instead of getting down on myself, and instead of Andrew being like, hey, bro, you forgot the mics, what the heck? We just said, hey, videographer, can you help us put these little mics back together?
Yeah.
So you always find a way when you execute and when you don't fear the failure. And know that even if we did show up with terrible audio, it'd be like, we'll fix it the next time and realize like, wow, Leo, you got to write down to bring X, Y, and Z chords so you don't have this moment again. But how would I know?
Yeah, so many people though, and I think this is a common, it was for me. I used to just live in that frustration or, something would go wrong and it's, darn, I'd get so aggravated at myself or at someone else. And then rather than coming to what you just described, which is a fix, right? Saying, okay, next time I'm going to make a list or next time there's no reason to be, I can sit here and be angry at the computer. I can sit here and be upset. Why did this not? Why? But instead it's going, okay, got it. How do we better do it next time? Exactly what you said. There's no time wasted in anger, frustration. There was not one feeling of like, are you for real? It was just like, cool, bro. Is that what we can do better next time? Done. Lesson learned. Learn lessons fast. The sooner we learn the lesson and just skip the frustration and anger phase when possible, the more we can execute bigger things more rapidly, reaching our potential and our purpose in a more rapid fashion.
So after freezing up, we had a couple people in the audience come up and say, hey, we feel you, we understand where you are, Leo, and actually thank you for being authentic and vulnerable because it started the theme of vulnerability and it gave us the ability to speak. It gave us the ability to feel connected to us.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes, again, we try to be the best we can be, so we show up as quote unquote perfection. But then when we simply show that we're also human by the fact that we also mess up so much, it gives our team and it gives our students and the people around us and our community so much more connection points to us.
Yeah.
And after talking to maybe 7 people after, they came up and said, Leo, I'm so glad you said those things.
Yeah.
I'm so glad it went the way it did. And of course, in my mind, it was, I can't believe that happened. Don't let that happen.
Yeah.
But then realizing that that's happening in my brain, let me ease up. Because what if God wanted this to happen? What if he's using me as a vessel to have had allergies in that moment, to ask Michelle for some allergy meds to get Benadryl, to then be drowsy, to pause, for that to give that person the lesson of, hey, I too need to break. I too need to open up and share my story and be vulnerable, because that's what someone came up to me and said. Leo, because you showed that you were human, you showed that you were vulnerable, you showed that you can also fail, I too feel like I can now share and take my mask off.
That's powerful. And I think for anybody listening to this, is you hear the story of anything that's happening in our life, in our world, my prayer would be that it inspires you, because I know as you're running your business, you're doing your deals, you're growing, you're helping clients, you're doing the things you do, things go wrong.
Yep.
But it's not problems, it's potential. Every problem is potentially an opportunity. It's not a problem, it's potential. And when you can look at that, and instead of saying, oh gosh, I can't believe that happened, and you're using and seeing it as a problem that you need to beat up that problem and letting anger and frustration settle, you say, what's the potential here?
Always ask, what can I learn from this? What is the opportunity? What is the hidden gem from this?
Yeah.
And that's what I did in the moment. And that's what you helped me realize also by having so much grace and being a great business partner, because you were able to lead. Me and Andrew, as we do, we throw off of each other very well. And when I don't know what to say, Andrew will know what to say. And because you're able to do that, I was able to recollect my thoughts and ask myself, is there a big lesson that will come out of this? What if I just submitted and surrendered to the moment? What would God use me to do right now?
Yeah.
And it's to just show that we fail sometimes.
Yeah.
And we're not perfect, and we do have moments of frustration and screwing up. And I think if we can just learn that failure is actually a beautiful thing, because when you fail, that's only when we learn so much. We're able to tell this story to you guys and have you guys impacted, and the other 50 people here and the other thousands who will listen to this podcast and listen to this live show. We're only able to do this because one of us failed. And we had the humility to say, it's not all about me. It's about the lesson that came out of it. And as I went back to the bedroom, and sat there for a minute. I looked in the mirror. I was like, that was good. That was perfectly the way it was, because you needed another story to help people. And I think if you guys can think about the worst things that are happening to you right now and the worst things that have already happened to you, if you can just simply say, is this a story that I'll tell someone one day? And if that story can help them change their life, maybe it was so worth it. Maybe that biggest breakthrough, that biggest failure was actually the biggest thing that would finally make it click for someone else who needed that breakthrough.
So for any of you who are listening and maybe you're facing or just faced a challenge, a problem, a failure, a deal fell through, a client, realize that it is a tremendous opportunity. You know, there's something I recently heard somebody talking about, and it's been my experience too, that while we have incredible clients, incredible friends, great people in our mastermind, sometimes the most sold out client you ever have is someone who came into your world, and maybe something bad happened. Maybe they fell through the cracks. Maybe you missed their call, or they was texting at somebody one time. They was texting and emailing the wrong number and email address. And so they thought I was ignoring them for weeks, and they had the wrong number and email address. And that person, when it's resolved, is more likely to be a long-term piece of your business and your clients and your friends list than the person who everything just went perfect from day one.
Wow.
Because you have that deeper connection. And I think as you're looking at things that went sideways, partnerships that went sideways, deals that went sideways, now we're sitting here going, not only every time that happens, our brotherhood always grows a notch. It just always does, has for years. But also you look at everyone listening to this. They're like, oh my gosh, I can relate to a screw up that happened in my life. Everyone in the room is going, oh my gosh, I can relate to a challenge that popped up. And I can relate to either having a challenge, as I can, and I can also relate to having someone, a brother, a friend, a partner there who lifts me up and helps in that moment, because we don't ever have to be alone.
100%. And I thank you for that, for sharing that and leading with vulnerability, leading with honesty, and being the man you are, because it just inspires so many people, including myself, to say, hey, let me follow in those footsteps. So I urge every single one of you guys here to don't be afraid to fail. Fail a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And put yourself out there.
Go screw it up.
And you might just find an incredible person along the way that says, hey, I'm on that same path. And I have the humility to say, I'm also failing fast.
Yeah.
And I'd like to help pick you up when you do fail sometimes. Right. And I think that's what we do for each other. And that's why we build such incredible things. And that's why we, in our own term, are unstoppable.
Yeah. I agree.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate
and
you, brother.
I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. It's a short one.
Yeah.
And I think it's a powerful one.
I do believe it's powerful. Enjoy it, rewatch it, re-listen to it, and remember that failures are not final and problems are just potential opportunities. You got this.
Bye, guys.
See ya.